Yes, folks, what's Gary Lineker done now? Well, he's just continuously running his mouth off, isn't he? Now, everyone's entitled to their views, political opinions, etc. He doesn't incite violence, he doesn't incite hatred, but he is politically stupid. Gary Lineker knows that being an employee of the BBC, he can't be partial. He's not allowed to be biased. Because I guarantee you, if there was a right-wing celebrity or presenter working for the BBC, and they said the things that Gary Lineker did, they'd be gone. But no, for some reason, Gary Lineker just continues and stays in his job. Now, any normal working class person, if you're on social media, if you say you're employed by whatever company or organisation, and then you start spewing political views, you'd be sacked. Everybody knows who Gary Lineker is, everybody knows who he works for, and everybody knows what he does. And when you work for the BBC, you are meant to be impartial. The BBC advertises itself as impartial, free and fair. All complete bollocks, of course. Now, you'd think that he learned after the furore he caused when he compared the Tory government to the Nazis. Basically, he didn't say Nazis, he said 1930s Germany. But when you say 1930s Germany, you mean the Nazis by not saying Nazis. And so the BBC suspended him for a very short time, and then they brought him back and he won. And by giving in to him and not really dealing with him vigorously enough, he just continues to do it. And he's either got their balls in a vice or he knows information about the BBC that they won't touch him. Otherwise, he'll go squawking. And so his latest outrage and blatant bias is that he has signed an open letter, along with other woke, out-of-touch celebrities, condemning the Rwanda plan. And he's put this on Twitter as well. I know this, even though I'm blocked by him. It's like common knowledge. People share screenshots, etc. And that's how word gets around on social media, especially on X, formerly Twitter. And this is the thing about wealthy, out-of-touch, left-wing celebrities like Gary Lineker. They live in private, gated, exclusive communities or highly, mainly white, middle-class suburbs. They use private healthcare, their kids go to private schools, they don't need to use public transport, so the effects of mass migration just doesn't affect them at all. And when it does, and only then, when it affects their lives, then they'll say something about it. But until then, they'll celebrate it. Now, as we all know, Gary Lineker hosted a migrant in his house, and he did this to virtue signal because he advertised it everywhere. He made sure the mainstream media told everyone about it. And here's the thing. The guy he had in his house was a highly vetted individual in his mansion for 2 weeks. And then after the heavy advertising and publicity, the migrant was moved on. The whole thing was a PR exercise, and that's it, in virtue signalling. He's just an insufferable virtue signalling, woke, progressive, out-of-touch, lefty that has absolutely no idea about the strife of the working class man and woman. He's also a hypocrite after condemning Qatar and the World Cup there and the conditions for workers building the stadiums. He took £400,000 to go and host Match of the Day there for the World Cup. I mean, the hypocrisy of him and his ilk, it's sickening. Now, the excuse Gary Lineker gives to justify his open, biased viewpoints on social media is that he is a freelance journalist. But if he is freelance, then what other media organisations does he work for? After all, his main income is paid by television licence payers, and his main employment is the BBC. I haven't seen him on any other media organisation's channel, and nor have I ever seen any articles written by him in any of the tabloids. So for him to say he is freelance is just ludicrous. And if the guy really does feel he should be free to say what he feels, then he ought to quit the BBC. But the thing is, they pay him too well, don't they? And he'll keep doing it as well until the BBC have the balls to deal with him properly. And there we go, that's my video. I hope you like. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and until the next time, Roger Trout.